What's up, y'all? It's your boy eBay Fight Predictions in the building. This is your Anthony Smith versus Johnny Walker breakdown. I love this fight. I really do, because I think stylistically this fight can go either way. I think it's 50-50, honestly. You know, on paper, when you compare resumes and, this and that, obviously you start to see a big difference. But honestly, if there ever was a time for Johnny Walker to get a big W here, I think it's now. And against a legit title contender, and Anthony Smith, I think he can do it. I really, truly believe that. And Anthony Smith had probably one of the biggest hiccups of weigh-in backup history, because man, when you get that backup spot in for a title fight, and you gotta all you gotta do is make weight, because most likely your opponents are gonna probably fight each other. But that's all you gotta do, and you miss weight. This is the result of that. He got punished for that. You saw it happen with Vicente Luque when he fought Belal Muhammad. He was the backup. He had so much steam behind him, and when he missed weight, it's just like, wow, okay, forget you there. Well, you go fight Belal Muhammad. So obviously Anthony Smith, kind of same spot right here. He's fighting Johnny Walker, who's on a 2-fight win streak, and obviously Smith is on a loss of his own right. So I don't think in any world Smith should have been anywhere near title contention. So obviously you saw how the world works there. It stops the evilness from appearing. Smith, Smith thought he was gonna get a title fight. But yeah, it's obviously I love the fight. It's a good fight. In terms of stats and the tail of the tape, Smith comes with a record of 36-17. He's fighting out of Nebraska, age 34, a height of 6'4", and a reach of 76. Johnny Walker comes with a record of 20-7. Is fighting out of England, age 31, a height of 6'6", and a reach of 82. So long ass dude. Johnny Walker, long arms and tall guy. But obviously you can just see a big difference in the experience advantage. Like I said, when you compare these guys on paper in terms of resumes and what they've accomplished in the division, I think Smith is on a different level. But when you talk about athleticism, knockout power, and legit dangerous, lethal intentions, you gotta bring up Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker brings the chaos. He has legit knockout power. Obviously he doesn't have the durability to back it up, but my god, can he hit someone. So honestly, stylistically, I think Smith is gonna have to just play the game of rope-a-dope. You know what I'm saying? And he's done this his whole career. He's been the rope-a-dope kind of guy, the guy that will take damage and then come back, right? And you can just look at his resume. He's fought guys like Magomed Ankalaev, Ryan Spahn, Jimmy Crute, Devin Clark, Alexander Rakic, Glover Teixeira, Alexander Gustafsson, John Jones, Volkan Ozdemir, Shogun, Rashad Evans, Thiago Santos, Hector Lombard, Andrew Sanchez, Cesar Ferreira, like really decent guys, and he has some wins over some of them, right? He has a win over Hector Lombard, Rashad Evans, Shogun, Volkan, Alexander Gustafsson, Devin Clark, Jimmy Crute, and Ryan Spahn. And probably his best win is probably, it's out of the Gus or Volkan win. It's probably his best win. But honestly, he's more known for his losses against big-time fighters. His Glover Teixeira beatdown, his John Jones loss. Not a lot of people remember the Rakic or Ankalaev fights, but yeah, the Glover beatdown and the John Jones loss was probably one of his bigger moments of his career. So that's kind of telling when your biggest moment of your career is a legitimate, world-class beatdown from Glover Teixeira, which I predicted correctly. But yeah, so the point is, though, like I said, if you go watch his Volkan Ozdemir fight, that fight was pretty tight, and Volkan was actually doing pretty good in that fight in the wrestling department. And, Anthony Smith was able to get the comeback, get the rear naked choke, and get the W there. So we've seen Smith take damage and get wins. And we've seen him dominate like he did against Ryan Spahn, but we've also seen him lose like he did against Magomed Ankalaev. Obviously, he talks about the ankle, so he has that, but there's no excuse for the Rakic fight and the Glover fight. He got completely outclassed. And I want to specify to the Rakic fight. I think the Rakic fight is the main key to victory for Johnny Walker. if he fights like how Rakic fought Smith, he'll win this fight, because I've been watching Walker's fights a lot recently, and I've just seen this new strategy that he's been trying to implement to his game, throwing more leg kicks, more feints, being more defensively responsible. He's really tried to implement that. It didn't work too well out against Jamal Hill, but against Ian Cutelaba and Paul Craig, it worked pretty well. Obviously, those were short fights, so obviously we know Johnny Walker isn't the most technical guy in the world. He's uber athletic, uber powerful, but technically, even though he can do a lot of crazy, high risky kind of cool, moves, right? He can't really throw a successful jab. He can't really throw a beautiful 1-2 down the pipe. But what he's been really good at is throwing a lot of good calf kicks. And that sets up his powerful strikes, his overhands, his lead hooks, his wild lead hooks. So those sets it up. And he has been targeting the leg in his last few fights. And obviously we've seen Anthony Smith. That's probably his number one issue, is his calf. He's too heavy on his lead leg. And I think if he targets that, I think it can set up some shots, and I think we can see a glorious KO of Anthony Smith again from Johnny Walker. I really do believe that. And wrestling wise, I think Walker can compete with Smith if Smith shoots for a bad takedown. I think Walker can sprawl. He can grapple with him. I think it'll be a fun fight for what it's worth. You know what I'm saying? So those are the obvious things to look at. Again, like I said, Smith is going to have to play the rope-a-dope game. He's going to have to take some shots and to give some shots, but obviously Smith is a lot more durable, a lot more tougher than Walker. We've seen Walker get KO guys like my boy Corey Anderson. There's levels, but honestly, I feel like Walker's learned so much from his losses, If I've ever seen a guy that's made legitimate improvements, and or I wouldn't even say improvements, but he's made the effort to make improvements, is Walker. He's not the same guy that he was when he fought Corey Anderson. He really isn't. So I like how he's moving in the direction of his career. And I'm taking the risk. I'm gonna be taking Johnny Walker here by third round TKO. I think he finds it. I think he breaks Smith down. Smith is 34. He's at his time on the top. He's at his run. I think it's Walker's time. I think Walker, the way he's going to set up those calf kicks, the way he's going to defend and maybe even counter wrestle Smith, I think he beats him up. All he needs to be is defensively responsible, doesn't get hit on that chin, and I think he beats this guy. He's longer, he's more athletic, he's faster. He just has to be just really somewhat sharp technically, and he wins this fight. He doesn't have to be the more technical fighter. He just has to be technical. You know what I'm saying? Like, Smith can be the more technical fighter, but what can really save Walker is his length and his speed and his athleticism if he's just technical. Just a little bit, not a lot, just a little, and it can take him a long way. And I think he can finish Smith, or I think he can get a decision victory here in Charlotte, North Carolina, over Anthony Smith. So that's my pick. I'm rocking with Johnny Walker by third round TKO. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter. Like, comment, and share the video. Let's get this eBay Fight Prediction Nation growing. This fight card is going to be good. We got really a lot of good fights on here, so can't wait to watch it. Love y'all, and goodbye.